Welcome back, YouTube. It's been a bit. But good news is we got some amazing things happening with DerPaige now. Two players sadly cannot make it tonight. Bagel has a job right now, and that is more important. Hopefully that job will allow her some time off eventually. Teacup Guy Zod is currently sick and cannot make it today. But today is going to be a nice little chill day, just following the goings on of Golem Heart and everybody processing the new trauma they got from trying to look at those monsters from the last couple of sessions. If you even want to call them monsters.
Mm-hmm.
In addition...
Horrible amalgamations of another reality.
The horrible amalgamations were the session before last.
Yeah, but this session 3 and 4 happened so close timeline-wise that you didn't have the time to mentally process it in character, at least. Unless you were a time wizard. Slowly narrows eyes at Lionel. But in addition, we've got some new content up on the Patreon. If you haven't already, please check out the Patreon. There is some free content up there that goes over everything that you need to know about the basics of this world. It goes over the guild system, it goes over the magic system, it goes over the 8 main races. And there are various, subsets within each race. So if you ever want to, perhaps, make your own world inspired by DerPaige, you can take some inspiration from that, or directly use it, because that is free to use.
Incredible. I'm looking at it right now. There's 19 pages of information about the setting.
Yeah, I 6,000 words just yapping on about the basics. And that's volume 1. That's volume 1.
Yeah.
Because there's going to be more as we go on and learn more about the world.
Mm-hmm.
I love world building. Speaking of world building, I think it's time we do some character building today. And like always, we're starting off with Shiradaman.
Hello, everyone. I'm Shiradaman, CEO and founder of the one and only B-Squared Industries you all know and use. Brought back to you by the wonders of the Founder Division to be Lyle Reigns. The ever-standing wall that, as we saw last time, ice just doesn't affect, really, huh?
Yeah, you gonna keep holding it over my head?
No, I am not.
I mean, if I managed to land a crit on you and bring you to 0 HP, I would hold it over your head for quite a few episodes.
You know, that's fair. He attacked 16 times with the ice mace. 4 of them hit other people. 8 of them were targeted directly at Lyle and failed to hit them, and 4 of them were blocked by Lyle.
I love that you keep so much track of that. Hi, Riddle.
I am the note taker.
The note taker.
Following up Shiradaman, we have Lionel VT.
I am Lionel, line scientist Vtuber. Born in a lab, raised in a lab. It's coming soon to a lab near you. That is a threat. Little bit of a sore throat, but we're pushing through today. And I am playing Ira Era, somebody who in the last session confided in our one of our B team members that he understood what it was like to be kept waiting forever.
Yeah, and speaking of, she's gonna get some art soon.
Yeah.
Hey.
Also, have you tried any throat coat tea, or are you having any tea with
I'm
honey?
good. I have neither of those things here now. I had thought to bring my usual throat honey-dew stuff, but it didn't do that. I'm fine. I just figured I would.
Oh, no, what were you saying?
I was just gonna say I just figured I would mention it in case anybody was wondering why I sound different. I also sound different because I'm on an iPad right now.
Is your computer okay?
Yeah, I'm just away from it.
And lastly, today with us, we have Shining Heart VT, the pizza muncher himself.
Alright, give me like 2 seconds.
Here's the pizza, Lord of the pizza.
Actually, I don't have a mouthful of pizza, but for authenticity's sake, huh? I am the most powerful wizard of all time. This is Shining Heart. Dragon's what I am. Wizarding is what I do. I'm a variety streamer with a focus on retro titles and beloved classics from your childhood and mine.
Hey, can you tap the bottom of one of those slices next to it? It sounded like it had a good body to it.
No, it is actually incredibly not crispy at all.
Exactly,
Is it really?
Critters. The most pizzaful wizard of all time.
Oh, hi.
And so, our story resumes. Who would like to do the recap? I feel like it should I feel like it should be Serrata because Ryu's eating and Lionel's not feeling the best.
Potentially, yeah.
I can.
I also am having trouble wording the last thing that I remember from everything else we've done in the past like 3 sessions.
The session 4 notes do also have a full recap summary at the end of them. That's something I started doing at for session 3.
So yeah, pop off, King. Hit us with that recap.
Pop off.
Faced against the Guildmaster of the Demi's Urge, the party entered battle with Duke 10,000 Watts Omen. As storm clouds and electrified bolts and punches tear across the party, Ira quickly realizes that Duke is a master of more than just lightning. With the battle waging on, Duke finds many of his attacks intercepted by Lyle, as Vina and Takeshi wear him down until finally he drops the facade, bringing forth the full range of storm magic he has in his arsenal. Though lightning strikes drop Vina and Ira, Duke's lack of training in his other disciplines quickly shows, as again and again his ice magic fails to get past Lyle's wall, until eventually he collapses under the strain. Defeated and stumbling, Duke stammers about the test not going to plan until, throwing anything he can reach to try and stop the party's advance, he briefly grabs the dark crystal before a purple chain liberates his arm from his body. Looming from a nearby rooftop, a new villain is now seen, briefly, before taking the crystal and stepping away into a portal. Lyle and Arian work together to reattach Duke's arm before taking him back to the town hall to be collected by the sigil wardens. As they walk, attempts to question him on what happened fail as a seal is placed upon his tongue. Reuniting with Herc, who had captured all remaining members of the guild, the party handed over Duke, now learning how Demisurge was formed and that Herc will serve his, albeit shortened, sentence along with his friends, the other aces and the Guildmaster, and will seek out Golemheart for membership once he is free once more. Before parting ways, he also hands over a guild quest for the search of one Aria Mezzo Prestazione,
Yes.
whom none of the party recognized. I'm sorry?
That is the proper pronunciation.
Whom none of the party recognize. Meeting with the mayor, the party is given double the expected reward, in spite of Vina's concern on if the ruined town can actually afford to pay that amount. With the cart provided by the town, the party takes to the road, leaving onward behind. As the night progresses, Vina and Lyle take watch, with the clock hitting... With their conversation ending as the clock strikes 0, the two trade watches with the others to take some well-earned rest. Upon returning to Upheaval after an 8-day absence, Vina displays her trophies to Delilah as she recounts the events of the quest. Though concerned, the focus shifts as a disheveled Team B enters, bearing the loot of the dungeon they cleared. While catching up, Amp tears up the Dark Guild quest as Lyle recognizes that Amp is in fact a shortened form of Aria Mezzo Prestazione. As she tries to leave, Lyle warns her that the Demisurge was not the only one looking for her, but confirms that she is indeed safe within the guild. As the party is split, Takeshi takes to the training field to try out his new suit, Lyle meets him there with a plan for sparring the following day, featuring the emotionless guest judge Kiki. As this happens, Arian heads to their apartment, and as Vina and Ira enjoy the creation of a new musical genre as Amp works out her frustrations in the dorms.
And that will get you 100 Zenit. So, it is a new day at the guild hall. What are you all doing today?
Well, let's start morning
breakfast.
with some breakfast.
Breakfast is always a good
Yep.
choice. Breakfast is always a good choice.
Yeah, that's a good start.
And
Like every morning, Lyle
Like-
returns from patrolling the outskirts of the guild hall in town to get some breakfast.
hell yeah.
And
And as you all come in to start getting your food and whatever that food may be, there is of course the guildmaster who is still, kind of like celebrating and gloating about you guys. Because as you recall from last session, with the reports that came in from Vina and the B team, no surrounding areas were damaged. By you guys at least. For once, Golem Heart finished a mission without Golem Heart doing more damage to the surrounding town than to the tasks they had.
Oh man, we're slacking.
So as you all are, enjoying your breakfast, would you like to, anyone in particular you'd like to converse with before we kick things off?
Well, I don't know what there is to be kicked off, so I'm kind of curious what that is.
Well, as you all are eating, let me open up the guild.
You do know that at midday, Lyle and Takeshi have a sparring match.
Yes.
Mm.
So, while you guys are enjoying your breakfast, there is like the murmuring and talking amongst all the guild members. Some of them come by, congratulate y'all for a job well done, getting some good notoriety for the guild for once. Saying you should probably watch out doing too well in the future so that the guildmaster doesn't break out the good booze.
Oh no.
And of course, joining you at the table is Isaac today. As he sits down with what looks to be like a good hearty biscuit with like a sausage stuck through it. What are those types of good like bready biscuit sandwiches? Yes, Maverick, it is. It is a very fairy tale inspired world. And of course, the members of the quote-unquote B team have, warmed up to just kind of sitting with you guys and starting to share a meal. And as Isaac sits down and prepares to start eating, he takes a moment to look at the three of you. So, where's Arian today?
Out with... I don't remember.
I ran into them earlier today. They said something about field studies and left a couple hours ago.
All right.
Right.
Well, good news is, Kiki sounds excited for judging your fight later. As excited as she can sound.
Yeah.
Are you guys excited to test out any new... I mean, I heard you got something new, Takeshi.
Yeah, yeah, I did. I don't know. I'm still not used to this whole being a transforming hero thing. It's I'm learning the ropes.
And that is why we spar.
Hmm.
A perfect way to test yourself.
What about you, Lionel? What are you doing today?
Did you mean to say Lyle?
Did you mean Lyle?
Or did you mean Ira?
Ah, God, I fucking did it again. Put that up on the counter, y'all. Another one for the counter.
It's like the lawyer that was just like, how have you never treated a tibula fracture before?
Okay, what about you, Ira? What are you doing today?
Primarily trying just to get over what I saw. It was a lot.
Was it really that bad?
I'm not sure if I'm allowed to tell you the worst of it, but suffice to say, it was far worse than just striking down some egomaniac with lightning powers.
You would have been told that you can talk amongst the other guild members about what you saw, if you're able to. Granted, you know what you saw. You can kind of describe what you saw, but
I see.
how you describe it, kind of hard to explain whatever it is those things were.
Yeah. Okay, so then... Right.
Like, if you were to try to explain the aberrants to anyone, and, like, try to describe them accurately, I would ask for you to make, like, a, willpower save or an insight willpower check.
I see. Then, sure.
To, avoid dying of cringe.
That's, what a way to put that.
And he just kind of, like, looks at you while he's eating the food with his one hand. His wrapped up arm always kept to kind of, like, hanging down to the side, as limp as possible.
All that I know about what we found there is that it really felt like it didn't belong here. And that it being here was very, very bad for all of us.
I mean, Vina's off on a special mission for a little bit because of that.
Yeah. Probably best not to speculate about what Vina's up to.
I mean, if you don't want to talk about what you saw, that's perfectly fine. And as he continues munching, Arya joins you at the table. As she sits down with, like, a little notebook that looks like it looks like a very, very well-loved and used notebook. Like, It looks like a notebook that someone has done a lot of work in. Like the ends of the pages are slightly flayed, almost like you could touch the side of the pages and it would feel more fuzzy and smooth as opposed to crunchy and sharp.
Right. Yeah.
Paige, did you say Arya?
Yes. To make it
Alright.
easy for people understanding who the character is.
Okay.
Mhm.
You know she prefers to be referred to as Amp, but knowing my accent and how sometimes people interpret what I'm saying, I'm just gonna say Arya to avoid confusing people.
Mhm.
Consider me confused. All right.
I almost choked on my fucking water. Also, let's not make Ryu choke on his pizza.
That's
Or
I mean,
do.
you know.
Thank you, Senpai.
Oh no, pizza's long gone. That has been murdered, destroyed.
The Za annihilation.
And his AMP, opens up her notebook to start taking some notes and all that. If any of you were to take a peek, you might see that she's working on some lyrics.
I see. Well, let's see. Ira would still be just sort of thinking about what he saw.
Also,
It's
sorry. I wanted to do a quick little
Oh.
clarification on Arya's character.
uh
Since the drop of the lore document, she has been slightly retconned. She still looks completely the same aside from the side of her head, which are like feathery ears. If you've ever seen Fairy Tale and know of
Mickey.
Mavis Vermilion,
Okay.
she's got those types of ears. She is an Avinoy,
Avinoid.
a member of the avian race on the planet of Terracon. I know this.
Oh.
The Avinoy, an avian race of the world, much like Beast King.
Just gonna do a dramatic reading.
Yeah, Lyle just pulls out the actual document I wrote and just starts breaking
Starts
the meta
reading
logic.
it right there at the table.
A teaser for the listeners to be like, wait, what's the next line?
And her ears are kind of doing this little happy flapping, and she's writing out these lyrics.
Oh. Yeah. Man, how would I describe that? How would he have actually even seen them?
The aberrants?
Yeah, I'm trying to think. Because, I got the impression that, everybody saw them slightly differently.
So,
And
the thing is, you all saw them the same way. You all saw the same thing. But accounts to try to explain them might come with I'm sure you've heard of the old proverb of 5 blind men and an elephant. If you have 5 blind men and ask them to touch a part of an elephant to describe the elephant, if they've never experienced an elephant, they'd all describe something different based on the touch.
Right.
You pretty much describe them the best way you can.
Right.
That whatever these things were, they should not have.
Mm-hmm.
They were man
I
beasts that basically defied the laws of reality.
What was the thorned dog thing called again? The thorn wolf.
Oh, the timbered wolf or the dire grove.
Timber wolf, yeah. The dire grove, yeah. Because that was basically the equivalent I came to in my mind. So yeah, I guess yeah. I guess Ira's gonna try and explain it as like if you've ever seen Dire Grove, think
Yeah, I've heard.
that hmm?
I've seen them in books.
Well, just imagine that you took one of those and made it out of bare flesh and made it a cannibalistic entity. And that's what we saw.
And Isaac is just looking at you three, like mouth agape, almost ready to take another bite of his sandwich, and he just blinks a few times. And you can almost swear you see like a -3 pop up over his head as he suffers some mental damage.
I think an apt description is that they are so indescribable you cannot miss them. Take the description you gave of the modified Dire Grove. Sketch it out in ink and spill some of Delilah's brew over it. Layer 3 of these on top of each other. Now you're closer.
Well, it sounds like you really encountered something that nobody would want to, in their right mind, see. Lycoris chimes in as she comes in and sits down with just a bowl of water in front of her for her food. Which she...
I thought the dungeon would have been more dangerous when we first took the job, but I've had that quite thoroughly proven wrong.
Well, with Kiki by our side, things worked out pretty smoothly. She's a reasonable leader. When Lycoris lifts up her little bowl of water, just kind of pours some on top of her head for a moment before she sips down the rest.
You know what?
Oh, a break.
I feel like, again, with Kiki by your side, you might have prevailed against those. Maybe.
Speaking of Kikipora, you notice she's not at the table at the moment. Normally she's with the other members of the B team.
Find that Kiki.
Until you hear the sound of her, little alien robotic puppet over by the kitchen. As Vimy, who hovers out from the kitchen carrying some plates for some of the people that are at the bar ordering, goes back. And you see a little chef hat sticking up over the window, but you don't see who's the person that has the chef hat on, as it seems there's a new chef in the kitchen. But as you can tell, she's clearly not tall enough to be seen.
That's amazing.
So yes, Kiki the little one is now helping out in the kitchen when she can. And of course, so people can see her, she's wearing an extra tall chef hat.
Moving around the kitchen like a shark.
But you know what? That's exactly what it looks like. You just see the little poofy top of the chef hat, going back and forth by the little window.
It has a mind-boggling number of pleats in the hat. So no one can understand how many ways she's managed to cook an egg.
And yeah, you definitely have to try some of her cooking sometime.
That's such a deep cut. Holy shit. Oh, wow.
But yeah,
Lyle's gonna put a hand on Ira's shoulder.
Oh, man. Mm.
I think
Yeah.
what is most important to remember is to temper your fear, temper your concern at seeing them, with the resolve that given they were related to these crystals, we will, or someone in the guild will see them again. And we'll need to know what to do.
Yeah. No, I have no plan on giving up. Those things were fucked up.
well,
Have you considered sparring?
I don't. Oh,
Hello?
Kyra,
Hello?
thank you for gifting 20 subs to the community.
Hey, yo!
What?
I was thinking of changing the gift sub sound alert so it's not as long to that the whole like, the anime.
Lord.
Wow!
Hey, Ryusei, you got one.
Oh hell yeah! You've adopted a
Did I get
snippet.
caught? Did I get caught in that? Oh.
For everybody who has gotten the
Thank
gift
you.
sub, check out your sub badge and see what level of snippet you have.
Mm.
Because many of you have just adopted the sci-fi snippet.
Which one's the
Um,
sci-fi stuff category?
Hey yo, Ryu, you've got the 3-month one. Look at that little alien dude. Look at him.
I got the 9-month one.
Yes, a snippet is my channel mascot. They're living dust bunnies that are born out of the most loved stories on the shelves, and they tend to resemble the genre of the book they come from. And they eat paper scraps and eat some of the dust, and can only really quote words from the books that they come out of, kind of like Bumblebee does with his radio. Get some good rest, Kyra.
that's great. That's great. You love to see it.
But, back on track.
Mhm.
Ira,
What?
aside from sparring and, getting bruised, probably, do you want to maybe go into town today or something?
Mm.
Thank you guys!
Whoa.
Hey, yo, Doe, Harmesis? Hey.
Oh.
Holy moly.
You gave 5 more. Thanks, Harmesis.
Thank you guys so much for the support during this. But, Lionel,
Oh, man.
Isaac is asking you if you'd like to spend time with him today. As like a little bond.
Yeah. Sure. Yeah, what? Yeah. Let's see. Let's not just reject this outright. Let me... Okay.
He's also trying to give you an out so that you don't have to spar all day. Why isn't Lyle on the stream together? We've tried to figure that out. It's... A lot is going wrong with Lionel's tech today. Scuff.
Yes. Tons and tons and tons and tons of stuff.
Lionel is
all-
away from PC right now, and nothing is working on
Yeah.
his iPad.
I really kind of despise this accursed device that I bought for face tracking. Oh, God. Anyway, yeah,
Of course, his breakfast is winding down. Sorry, you were going to say something?
I was just gonna have Ira say, you know what? Fine. I need something to take my mind off of this.
And you can tell that Isaac is like trying to show some genuine concern and like trying to at least build some sort of rapport between you and the other group.
Mm-hmm.
Of course, once breakfast winds down, it's up to you guys what you would like to do with your day. There's only so many hours in the day that you can use, and what you do with those hours is up to you. Of course, with it being like around 10-ish, around 10, 11, or close to midday, I'm going to assume Lyle and Takeshi are getting ready for their spar.
Yeah, Takeshi's not going in super far from the guild.
Absolutely.
In the meantime, allow me to open this up and... Lionel, where would you like to go today?
Okay.
Or are you going to be sticking around the guild itself?
I think, yeah, he wouldn't want to stray too far because he's still really not sure.
It's okay, take your time.
Yeah. He would not be. He wouldn't want to be too far in case something else just sort of came out of nowhere like that. Yeah.
Well, you are free to do with your day what you so choose. Also, wait 6 months to be Felipe. Thank you for the first time chat.
Yeah.
I like that.
I'm trying to get to your stream because I'm not able to see the
Scuff!
map.
Everybody's favorite.
Otherwise, please.
In the
You
meantime,
might
let's go
help.
over here to the little training grounds of the guild hall.
Yeah.
Where, there's a couple of people just like testing out some weapons or testing out their martial arts. Which...
And Lionel, if it helps, I just shared my screen in Discord call so you can see.
Thank you.
Oh, thank you so much, Sharada.
That's a big deal. I'm gonna stop using up that bandwidth.
So yeah,
I said yes for this.
there's plenty of people training in the field, and as some of you would know, mages need to be of strong body as much as they need to have like a strong sense for magic. It's a very physically demanding job, and with that comes, routine training and all that.
Mm-hmm.
A good, respectable mage would be able to, run 10 miles and not be winded at the end of it. Unless they, were in the middle of a fight and having to run from something terrifying.
Oh, I love foreshadowing.
Who said it was foreshadowing? But,
It's always foreshadowing.
as you, Takeshi and Sarada. Takeshi and God damn it! Put another point up on the counter!
Okay. At what point do we have to decide that it's just too much? That we need to have this character name changed?
Lyle and Lionel to Spider-Man point.
It's going to...
Look, at what point do we start winning prizes for getting these points? That's what I want to know.
Who was to say?
Big money, big prize.
Takeshi and
Your prize is a series of stats.
Lyle Rains. You are most likely out in the training field getting ready for your little spar. Granted, this isn't going to be like a PvP battle or anything like that. But if you'd like to make a contest out of it, I can say you could do 2 6-section clocks and try to either fill up your own clock or keep your opponent's clock down. If you would like to make a contest out of it, or just make it narrative. That choice is up to you both.
Problem is, I would want to make it competitive. Lyle would want it to be narrative.
Yeah, Takeshi would want it to be narrative. I say let the dice tell a story.
You know, I'm good with that. So if you both want to get a 6-section clock at the ready, if you go into your sheet, on the main section, click the clocks button. Click miss ability, and then just have it set to, the basic 6 sections.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
And it's going to be... This is going to be a contested check system, where you will decide what type of moves you would like to use, describe how you're using them, and I will tell you what 2 attributes you're going to use. You can choose to reduce the other player's clock or advance your own. Depending on how high of a roll you do, you may advance or take away 2 points. As I'm going off of the Game Master difficulty levels. For a medium clock, the difficulty level will be 10. Everybody do a posture check, by the way.
You had to
Doing
boost
it.
me. Okay.
And of course, sitting off to the side in one of those, if you've ever seen a tennis match, you know like the referee's chair?
Mm-hmm. Tall referee's chair.
Yeah, the
So
tall
she is
referee's
face to
chair.
face with Lyle.
There's Kiki, she's got one arm raised and she blows on a little whistle.
Oh.
She's like, "Free!" Alright, the inaugural sparring match between members of Gildemar. Are both contestants ready?
Lyle turns and bows to the judge.
She's just kind of swinging her legs off the end of the chair. One of the benefits of being extra small.
Takeshi nods.
Then Lyle turns and bows to Takeshi. By the way, we do have the updated gear now, yes?
Yes. Takeshi, I still have yet to make, proper spells for your sheets. At least did I? Oh no, yeah, I gave you 2 spells. If you look in your, spells section.
Okay. There's
Granted-
no description on what they are, but it's got the damage and MP costs, so that works.
Yes, for the descriptions, I was gonna want you to tell me what you'd like to have them, be. Like, visually.
I will figure that out.
For example, if we do the silver true shot, can only be used while in silver grasshopper armor.
Okay.
And the silver grasshopper armor is technically untyped.
Oh, yeah. I was wondering if that was intentional. Wow. That's really
Did I
good.
give it a... Yeah, damage. Yeah, because instead of being like just a physical shot, it's just, raw magic. So it's untyped.
Yeah, true shot. Yeah, it makes sense.
And you may use your magic at its fullest here, so long as you do not go for the kill. How are you both getting ready?
I think this is the point. Lyle has different shields than you're used to. We don't have the art finished for them.
Would you like to describe them?
So they are two. They're a little bit larger than his previous shields had been, a little bit wider, but you can see kind of like it almost looks like tracks and ribbing near the edges of each of the shields. And you can also see that there is a set of claws on one of the shields that has one of his prior shields clamped into the front of it.
Okay.
Interesting.
So
Consent
visibly, he kind of has 3 shields equipped with 2 shields stacked on one arm.
She gave his shield a shield. Yes, Reaper, I did.
3 shield gambit.
Ryusei, how are you getting ready for battle?
No, I'm just imagining the 3 sword style. Except something just has.
just one shield in his teeth.
Wearing, not even biting the shield, biting the strap, so it just covers his face so he can't see anything.
It's just like, Lyle, does 11 hit your armor? He's trying to talk and it's just.
Well, y'all know the art you have to make now.
Lyle is now Kenny.
God, Lyle has a shield face like one of those, what are they called? Twilight demons from Twilight Princess.
Oh god, yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, you're so right.
Well, Takeshi's belt appears from nowhere in his hand, and he swings it around his waist, and it clips together on the other side.
And which armor are you donning?
He has not grabbed, a key yet. He's waiting for the duel, I guess, to officially start?
Okay then. With that, Kiki raises her arm, blows the whistle once more, and swings her arm forward. You may begin. And I will do a quick little D2. 1, Lionel goes first. Not Lionel. Fuck!
Oh, Lyle is allowing Takeshi to go first.
Is this gonna turn into one of those no, you go first moments?
Like Money Plane. No, No, Lyle had set this up specifically so we can see how Takeshi is doing with his new armor.
Okay then.
Alright.
Lyle is his day 1 training dummy of today.
Takeshi reaches down to the key ring that is attached to the belt and pulls the Emerald Hercules beetle figurine off of it. He clicks the wings together and the teeth of a key pop out from the front. He slaps it into the belt. And shit!
I love that your little reactive image just has its mouth open as the music plays. I love that.
A black base coat layer of armor that appears around him as a giant emerald Hercules beetle comes flying in out of the distance, explodes behind him into bits of armor that then collapse and connect to him in certain spots. The last of which being the face, which gives him the single horn Hercules beetle motif of a Kamen Rider.
That's... Wow.
And
Lyle is just grinning.
with that, you've got some of the other members, starting to sit up and watch and see what's going on here. So you may begin your battle, so long as you describe your moves narratively and tell me what it is you want to do. I will tell you what it is you have to do a roll for. First person to fill their sections over 6 clocks, or over 6 sections, wins. So, Takeshi, what are you doing first?
We'll start with the basics. Takeshi's gonna rush in and start throwing punches at Lyle, see if he can get past the shields.
Okay, I'm gonna say that's a dex might because you're covering a distance and then trying to make a good decisive blow to get started.
Okay.
At a DL10, that does connect and gets 1 section of your clock filled.
Nice.
Describe how you're coming in to hit Lyle.
Rushes in at the last second, gives a quick jump, and brings his fist down as hard as he can, and just starts throwing lefts and rights. He's not really, there's no form to this. He's just throwing punches.
Lyle, how are you responding to this? You may try to make a blow right back at Takeshi for a section of your clock, or you may try to do a proper reversal and remove sections from Takeshi's clock.
Oh, he was going for a reversal. He is looking to kind of catch one of Takeshi's punches and throw him behind him before turning to face him. Would you like... Is that going to be... Might?
I would say that's going to be might, because that's mostly just throwing someone. Just using your raw strength.
Crit.
That will definitely reduce Takeshi back to 0. You can't go below 0 on a clock, thankfully. Otherwise, that would be a minus 2.
I feel like what happens there is because Takeshi's not used to the added strength of this suit, there's so much more force from the earth magic behind it that when Lyle throws him, he just goes like over a fence and just tears up a nearby garden.
Jesus.
And then Lyle is just kind of like cringes a little bit before waiting for Takeshi to come back over to resume.
Maybe land somewhere over here, and in the noble section of the city.
There we go. That's the Gollum heart we know.
There's a clear sign of a tree shaking. One of the big trees near the guild. You just see the tree shake, and all the birds fly out from it. And there's like a collective ooh.
You hear Delilah curse from inside the tavern.
As the camera pans over to Takeshi, we have a boy who's left a crater in the tree bark.
Takeshi peels himself out of the tree, stands up, kind of shakes himself off, and makes a mental note. Okay, don't have to go as hard as I do with Silver Fighting Hopper mode. All right.
And of course, if you were to jump back to the guild, there would be, some little platforms of earth that would rise up under your feet to help you aid in the jump. As you learned from using your suit a little bit last time, the earth helps you move around. So movement's a little more fluid, and the earth will kind of shift a little bit to prep you for faster or stronger movements. But doing so might be a little confusing at first because your mind is not used to having something move you before you move yourself, right?
True. He's used to it being his own mobility, his own moving under his own power, and having to put a little bit more force behind it.
I don't know, Reaper, is it? I mean, he's not Melon Lord at the moment.
I'm sorry, Melon Lord?
Oh, someone's asking you that
I am
this
the
is
Melon Lord!
this entire armor is an Atlatov reference, isn't it? I am the Melon Lord!
I understand now.
And then when Herc comes to the guild, the boulder is ready to become a member of the Golem Heart.
Oh.
The boulder is over his feelings of confliction and is ready to bury you in a rock-a-ledge.
Good show. That is such a good show.
Avatar is great.
That said, Takeshi, how are you getting back to the guild field? How are you gonna bonk Lyle for this?
He's gonna he'd still start running. He's gonna close the distance. And he's gonna rush in. He's gonna stop a couple of feet, running of his own accord, kind of like he's trying to slide to a stop, and let the earth carry him forward. That last little, like, 2-3 feet, and deliver another punch directly to Lyle.
Yeah, so as you come to the gate around the training field, you do a little stop, get ready to vault over the gate, but the earth kind of latches on and like arches up and over to prepare you. And as you kick off the earth, it lifts you up and over maybe 4 feet and then kind of like turns you so you're 90 degrees parallel to the ground. And lets you just launch off and go straight for Lyle. Either for a punch or hitting him with your Emerald Halberd, as you described last session.
Oh, that's not out yet. We haven't pulled that out yet. This is bare-handed brawl time.
I feel like as we see Takeshi launch himself, the camera pans over slightly and Lyle just turns to Kiki talking about her cooking that morning, just casually catching up about their mornings. And then Takeshi just crashes through the side of the screen.
You know what, Takeshi? Make me a might roll then.
Lyle talk to Kiki, and they just hear this ah!
And with a 16, you will fill up 3 sections of your clock as you come flying in and get a good, strong haymaker off on Lyle when he's least expecting it. But given Lyle's size and girth, it's not quite enough to knock the man off of his feet, but you do slide him across the ground a considerable distance.
He knocks Lyle back, and he kind of stands up and says, "Where are you looking in the middle of a fight, old man? Your opponent's here."
How are we responding to that, Lyle?
I think Lyle, rather than say anything, is going to kind of just grin and kind of like how Takeshi had just done, just body charge into him.
Yeah, that'd definitely be a might roll.
I don't know why I expected anything else.
Oh, that is not enough!
It is not.
It is not. It does not. As you know, you come charging in shield at the ready. Takeshi, of course, manages to, in his brief moment of airborneness, come to the ground and get ready for a swift dodge, avoiding being struck by your body charge. As the earth just kind of twists under him to help him roll along the ground faster. Takeshi, what are you doing?
I think this is the point. Takeshi holds his hand out as earth explodes from the ground. He grabs it in the shape of an axe. The rocks explode out of the axe shape in his hand, revealing a large axe with an emerald blade. And he's going to slam it into the ground and use Crystal Spire.
Ooh, a magic attack. Roll that magic for us. A jut of sudden crystal that stabs and shoves a foe. Would a 10 hit your magic defense in this case, Lyle?
It would not.
So, for the difficulty check, that would hit? How do you both want to go about this?
Oh, I just clicked to put it into the side chat to see what it was.
Oh, right. Okay, so that would definitely be a might willpower, because this is kind of like magic.
Okay. Might willpower.
Yeah, Boss Bartender, all of the, there's 3 core books out right now. And one of the core books, you can get like a free version of the first core book to like get a feel for the start of the system. Ooh, and that hit is strong enough to knock Lyle up off of his feet for a moment. And Lyle, this is probably the first time in a long time you've been hit by such a force that you were literally swept off your feet. As Takeshi fills in 2 sections of his clock. And you come landing to the ground, ready for your move. Your move, Lyle boy.
All right. Is there still a little bit of a spire of rock crumbling next to him as he lands?
So the Emerald Crystal Spire is going to be there for quite a bit. Yes, Riddle. The books for Fabula Ultima can be found on Need Games.
Just based on it impacting me and hitting against my armor, how durable does it seem like that crystal spire is?
Given how durable your armor is and how another Earth Mage's attack against your armor cracked and, like, started to crumble immediately, the fact that this looks pristine without any flaws should be a sign of just how much power is in this thing.
Right.
Like, you get the feeling if Takeshi were being serious with this, your armor might have a dent in it, and you might need to practice yoga to put this armor on.
No. What a sentence.
I'm looking to...
I am known to make a few of them.
You are. I'm looking to turn things around. I'm just thinking of mechanically what makes sense for that here. Most of Lyle's things for turning things around would be redirecting attacks back, but if the Crystal Spire is just there and not going to move...
I would say while you're airborne, if you wanted to slam back down on it, and basically give Takeshi literally a taste of his own medicine and hit him with his own spell, given your unique magic of rebound, I'd allow it.
Right. Here's what I'm thinking.
So, what are you thinking?
I'm thinking Lyle's knocked up into the air. And as he's coming back down, he slams one of his shields into the Crystal Spire to slide him along it into Takeshi.
I'll allow that.
I'm aiming to do this as a turnaround to reduce his clock.
That will be a Might Dex roll.
Alright.
Because this is kind of like an athletic type of a thing. That is enough to reduce it by 1.
right.
And now we have Takeshi type null, ready for his next move.
So, Lyle comes like sliding down the spire and just crashes into me.
Almost like he comes down, sliding along the crystal, and just kind of like launches. So it'd be
I kind of arm surf on one of my shields along the edge of the spire and vault off of it to slam into you.
Like you know how this, like as it juts out like just a spire, there's kind of like smaller versions of the spire all around it, as if it was like just came erupting out of the earth. And as Lyle comes down sliding off the big crystal, he can slide up off of one of the smaller crystals and position himself to slam right into you with his full weight.
Alright, Lyle comes sliding down this crystal spire on his shield, a la Link from Tears of the Kingdom.
Shield surfing!
Takeshi assumes a stance kind of reminiscent of a Hercules beetle. He's got one arm up above his head in a fist, and the other arm coming out further, and he's going to attempt to grab Lyle and throw him, using his momentum against him.
Okay.
And I don't mean like he turns and like throws him. I mean he's going to just flat out grab him and just huck him over his head.
Okay. That would definitely be a... That's definitely going to be a Might Dex. And that is not enough.
Then I know how that follows.
How does that follow?
As you try and throw Lyle, you see Lyle's shields shift. The edges of them contract inwards and arch forward as they hook onto part of your armor as he instead lands and tries to throw you.
Oh my god, did you really just know you him?
Yes! That's my entire build, Paige.
Yeah, but...
In the reverse.
Thankfully, as Lyle does this, he doesn't say, "It does not."
Might or might dex?
Might in this case. As you're putting like a full strength reversal on it.
And this is again, trying for reversal, 11. Alright.
Okay, that reduces Takeshi by another section of his clock. As you get thrown and, you crash into some of the barrels that are stored by the guild. And as you take time to get up, you hear the whistle blow again, and Kiki's giving like a little comical yellow card to Lyle. Damage of guild property. Penalty issued. I think it's like it's emphasized even more through her deadpan.
I think what a viewer would see here is Lyle just pause, look at her, turn and look through the gate across the streets to the emerald beetle shapes imprint in a tree in someone's garden.
She pulls out like a little mock rulebook and explains, damage to guild property is covered by the first inaugural sparring rules. Outside guild property is standard for Golem Heart procedure.
Oh no.
And of course, Takeshi, as you get up, there's like the hooting and hollering of all the other guild members. They're like cheering both sides on. Meanwhile, Ira, Isaac, Lycoris, and Amp are all just kind of like sitting at the sidelines in the shade, enjoying this like moment of brevity. This moment where you can enjoy time with one another and laugh.
I really thought it was going to be a thing where you would cut to me and I would immediately hear the sound of that crashed into the tree.
I mean, if you want to be inside as this is happening and you keep hearing the crashes,
No, I actually think it makes sense that I'd be watching this, but it's just a funny image of just like I thought I could get away from those two.
yeah, Tom and Jerry, Tom looking up from the book with his like confused stare. So Takeshi, how are you responding to being literally thrown again?
Someone brought up Avatar in chat, so let's do some shenanigans. Takeshi's going to start throwing punches from across the field where he is standing, launching rocks. Small, I wouldn't say boulders, but, you know, pretty like, you know,
AoE Pro
rocks the
Bender?
size of your head at Lyle, as he uses the earth to slide him forward with momentum, grab his axe on the way, and as he swings an uppercut trying to get underneath Lyle's guard, is going to also use the earth to push the axe and give him a little bit extra momentum to see if he can't land a strong hit and go knock him backward off his feet.
That'll definitely be a might willpower in this case. What size is your willpower?
Oh, jeez.
That you know what? That lands.
That's willpower's 10, so...
You know what? That perfectly lands.
Nice.
As you fill up a section of your clock, and you know, you clock Lyle pretty damn hard. Thankfully, the man doesn't have a glass jaw. How are you responding to this, Mr. Shield Maiden?
Mr. Shield Maiden.
Oh, jeez.
I can't wait for the story to progress and you guys to earn like your own little epithets, your own nicknames as mages.
Wait, where? Oh, there it is. I think Lyle's just going to lock eyes with you and just say, more. And is going to use provoke to try and enrage Takeshi.
I'm gonna say that's... I'll allow it. I will allow it.
If you could, so it is an opposed might willpower.
So you both roll might willpower.
Okay. Hit.
That is a 10 from Takeshi. And a 9
It's a
from
plus
Lyle.
1 for only a 9. All right. Then you are not enraged.
But you are taunted with the word more. How are you responding, Takeshi?
It's just popping off.
Takeshi will oblige. He reaches down to his belt and he clicks the key forward once, causing his emerald axe to glow as the belt yells, what was level 1 again? Shimmering Impact! I haven't prepared sound bits for this yet. And he's just gonna make a straight horizontal slash with both hands across Lyle's shields.
Ooh. That would definitely be a might in this case. That is enough to fill one more section. How many do you have filled? I believe it's 5?
5.
Okay. As, you know, you strike the shield pretty dang strong. Lyle, you're feeling it at this moment. How are you responding? You've not filled any sections on your clock at the moment, have you?
No, nor has he tried to.
So what are you doing, Lyle? What are you doing, guy? What's that man doing?
I think I know what he's doing.
Red circle appears around Lyle. What did this man do? Did you see it?
Diggy point.
Exactly that. God, I love that Diggy emotes. YouTube react.
Jeez.
So it does not trademark pending. What are you doing?
I'm trying to think of what else makes sense for ways to reduce Takeshi's clock, because that's entirely just what Lyle's trying to do. Is just keep prolonging the fight. Because there's only so many times I can just be like, oh, I grab him and throw him before it gets tiring. He doesn't use a lot of attacks that are easy to otherwise turn around.
You could, in theory, manifest some of the stored up energy that you've been blocking and just, like, send it back. Like, as you've grown as a mage, you may have learned not only can you rebound magic attacks, but you can absorb the force of attacks and save it up to rebound later for slightly stronger.
Alright, I think what happens is, after Takeshi lets out that big swing, Lyle looks at him and then looks down, and Takeshi looks at both shields, and those edges that curled forward are very faintly vibrating. As he just launches the kinetic energy from that back at Takeshi.
That would be a might willpower in this case. Hi, Hesper! Hiya, Burr!
Pepper!
Pepper!
This is a very fun game, boss bartender.
Oh, jeez.
That reduces your clock by 3, Takeshi.
Ah.
Ooh!
Really making it work for a decisive victory.
Ooh. And you are sent far, far back, all the way to the archery range.
What score did I get on the target?
You didn't hit a target, so, you get a 0.
Yeah, learn to aim.
So for those of you who are wondering,
That's not
Fabula
Robin
Ultima
Hood.
has a system that uses clocks, and you can declare clocks that have like X number of sections and requires difficulty level checks of 10, 13, or 16. And depending on your action that you take, you determine if it's like insight, willpower, might, stuff like that, between the 4 attributes that you have to either reduce the sections of an enemy's clock or increase the sections of your clock to achieve an objective. And right now we got two anime protagonists bonking it out with one another.
That's a great way to put it.
I'm just picturing now Takeshi just lands next to an archery target. Kiki looks over and just goes like, ball again.
I was just.
She holds up a scorecard. 0.
we really ought not Robin Hood this guy.
Man, imagine Robin Hooding a motherfucker with another motherfucker.
Imagine, bro.
Takeshi, how are you responding to this?
He's going to slam his axe into the ground, pulling up a fairly large-sized rock with the blade. He's gonna wheel it back over his head. He's gonna chuck it, just bring his axe down and like fling this rock off of the axe directly at Lyle.
Might willpower then. That hits for one section. As this rock pulsing with earth magic energy just kind of crashes into you, Lyle. Which I would assume you prepare your shield to block, so as you're not clonked in the head.
I think Lyle catches it, takes a half step back, and then lacrosse style spins around to throw it back.
You what?
Off of his... Because I already described, his shields are hooked forward slightly.
Oh.
So he is lacrosse hook style, spinning around and launching the rock back.
Oh.
That would probably be a dex might in this case. That's some finesse you got. But it is not enough! As you prepare to do this, and the rock goes flying. It just kind of like rolls off, you know, true to lacrosse fashion. Sometimes the ball doesn't stay in the stick. Ball no stay in stick. Ball fall on ground. giving.
This case, it's a boulder.
It's a rock.
It's a rock.
Rezko, thank you so much for subbing for 6 months. And Takeshi, you now have an opening once again.
I do. Yeah, Takeshi's gonna, he's gonna try to close distance, and as he closes distance, he's gonna swing the axe again and bring up a row of stone spikes that, one after another, jut out across Lyle's shields.
Ooh. Definitely a might willpower because it's kind of like magical. But also strongical.
Yeah.
That fills another section of your clock, sir. We just hear like the twang, tang, clang of each and every crystal striking those shields, and you know, Lyle just taking like half steps back in kind to allow you to get your little combo out, as it seems like he's testing you. Yeah, magical and strongical.
Strongical, yep.
Oh, sorry, Buttercup, that's your face, not my slipper.
Strongical, huh?
I went to put my slipper on. I found a cat.
Oh.
I think cats like that.
So, Lyle,
That
what do
sounds
you
old.
do?
That's cool.
I think because Takeshi said he was charging towards Lyle as these project, right?
Yes.
I think as they stop, Lyle's going to start running forward and then jump off a few of the shorter initial spikes to try and bring one of his shields down on Takeshi.
I'm gonna say that's you doing a direct attack as opposed to reducing Takeshi's clock.
Mm-hmm.
Alright, make a roll of might. Might. That is enough to fill your section by 2. As you come crashing down, and we hear the sound of metal on metal loudly ringing out. As Takeshi, you're just struck from above by a falling man.
Takeshi kind of reels back, his armor sparks a little bit, like, okay. I mean, we're point blank range now. Takeshi's going to, oh. How does this look? he's he's gonna use Crystal Spire again, and launch. See if he can't launch Lyle away.
That would be a might willpower once again. And that is enough to fill your sections by 2. How many are you at?
That is 6.
That is a victory. That is a victory in the name of Takeshi. Describe how you defeat your ally Lyle.
He's going to use Crystal Spire, and he's going to angle it so that it comes up and tilts Lyle back, knocking him off of off balance, so he falls backwards. And then he's going to run up the what is essentially a ramp at this point, leap off, and plant his axe next to Lyle's head, as deep into the ground as it will go.
Damn.
He's going to lean his helmet face in very, very closely. And go, pinned ya.
And you hear the blow of a whistle. You hear the loud blow of the whistle of wheep as Kiki declares the end of the match. And she announces, winner, Takeshi.
That took a second.
Takeshi disconnects the belt from around his waist. The armor and the belt disappear in a flash of magic particles. The axe next to Lyle's head also disappears in a flash of particles. He places he doesn't place it. The Emerald Hercules Beetle figurine reappears on the keyring at his belt.
Yeah. And of course, Lyle, you're still on the ground. As you hear, like, the raucous cheer of many of the guild members, like, happy to see you guys are getting along the proper Golem Heart way.
Yes, quite proper.
And of course, you know, you got some people coming over to offer to help you up, considering Takeshi alone probably isn't enough to help lift you up with all that extra armor you got on.
I was fully waiting to see if Takeshi would try to offer to help Lyle up.
I don't think the like 16-year-old kid is strong enough without his armor on to lift a near like quarter-ton man in full plate armor.
Yes.
At least not yet.
Seeing that other people are starting to approach, Lyle just rolls to his side and stands up with a slight groan. Before he even says anything, just does a circle around Takeshi to kind of just check his back and see if anything got through his armor.
Well, that's a good question. Did anything get through?
Did anything get through Lyle's armor or Takeshi's armor?
Takeshi's.
At this point you wouldn't be sure because the armor had disappeared.
Well, he's checking for like any kind of sign of injury.
Oh, any injury on Takeshi?
Takeshi.
No, there is
Yes.
no sign of injury on Takeshi. Because this was a friendly spar and you were, you know, just sparring to test each other's strength, not to maim.
Yeah, but accidents still happen, so he's making sure before anything else.
Yeah, you see no signs of physical trauma.
Well done. Lyle's gonna hold out a hand.
Yeah, she's just kind of
mental anguish.
kind of baps his own hand against Lyle's hand. I don't need your approval, old man. It was fun though.
Oh no, you guys went for the ball and socket. One went for the handshake, one went for the fist bump.
No, like he's kind of like flat-handed, like baps the back of his hand against Lyle's palm, like it's
Oh, okay. I thought for a moment we had a ball and socket moment.
no.
He dismissed the handshake.
He dismissed the handshake. Lyle will remember this.
And Ira, Isaac looks over at you as he like kind of leans over after that fight. He's like, did you want to maybe get in on one of those types of things, or no?
Certainly not against either of those two.
I would rather not get into anything like that today at all.
Yeah, I wasn't particularly looking to do that.
Did you maybe want to go into town and do some shopping, or just...
Here's hoping we don't get interrupted by a different armored man getting blown through
And-
whatever.
God, yeah. And you can tell that Isaac is trying to offer you anything to do, like to keep you occupied, because based on how you described everything at breakfast, you can tell he's got some... Oh, the cat's just looking at me. She wanted the door open, but she didn't go out the door, so I closed the door again.
And then
And
she wants the door open again.
You can tell he's got like some strong empathy towards you at the moment. With your unique form of magic, if you were to manipulate it at all, depending on what you roll, you might get some sort of a sense.
Oh yeah. Let's study this lad. Is that gonna actually pop up? Oh. Oh no, hold on just a second there. Oh. Well that's
Yeah.
great and all.
Studying would be an insight check. And you have a bonus to that, I believe?
I do have a +1 to that.
In this case, that is enough because, you know, this isn't like a super dangerous situation. This is like an easy check. A 7 is what you needed. And
Sure.
you do get a sense that, well, while you can't be certain as you like tug on the strings of fate of just what it is he's been through, you get a sense that he definitely has a sense of familiarity with what you've gone through. To at least understand what you've seen should not have been seen. And he's legitimately trying to help ease your mental burden today.
Yeah. Let's yeah, let's go.
And as you and Isaac get up to start heading into town, wherever in town it is you would like to go, whether it's down Main Street, visit one of the parks, visit the church, visit the cultural center, that's up to you. But as you're walking away, you hear the voice of Lycoris as she runs over to try and challenge anyone else to a duel because she's got that itch now. And of course, you also hear the voice of Amp as she's trying to drag Lycoris back, saying, No, you frickin' battle maniac, not today.
I think in the distance you just see Lyle's shields lock back into their original wider point as he just starts laughing and holds his arms out.
And as we shift the scene for quite a bit, we're now focused on Lyle. Not Lyle. We're now focused on... God damn it, I did it again. We're now focused on Ira and Isaac and say, heading to town, do some... Have a boys' night. Have a bros' night.
Bro.
Granted, you're
Just-
similar ages, aren't you? I believe Ira is like a youth.
Yeah, a young individual, yes, but not like an actual like, teenager or child or anything like that.
Well, then Isaac would be much
Uh.
closer in age to Takeshi in that case.
Yeah.
But Isaac is walking next to you, his hands kind of like folded behind his head, bandaged arm on full display as he's like just kind of looking up at the clouds while walking down the main street with you. As you see the various shops.
I admit, I've been curious about what's up with you,
What
but
did you mean?
well, the arm is a pretty clear giveaway that something happened.
He briefly stops for a moment. He takes a moment to breathe in through his nose and then slowly out through his mouth. I suppose it was only a matter of time before other people were asking about it.
I mean, if you don't want to have that conversation right now,
It's better
you
we
have
do.
extended me a great courtesy. Okay.
It's honestly
Enough.
better we do. Like Horace and Amp both agree about that. Given how close we are with you guys.
I see.
And he walks you off of Main Road, right around here. Leads you along the back streets toward the church. But you dip into the park here.
Okay.
Or he takes you back into like the wooded areas around the park's edges.
Sure. Okay. Gotcha.
I normally don't do this because usually when it's unwrapped, it scares all the animals in the area, and if there's any mana beasts around, they get riled up.
I see.
And
That's.
he grabs one of the loose bandages around his left arm. As he explains that normally he's used to using his right arm and attuning to the elements that are around him to fight. And he's used to only fighting with his right side, but he usually will only use this if he's pressed to the very edge, like with the 5-alarm mouse issue from Session 0.
Yes.
And as he starts unwrapping his arm, you see it's kind of like discolored skin. It's almost like a reddish purple.
Yeah.
And as he unwraps his arm more, you see these kind of like interlocked, almost glowing pink circles of symbols. Each one connected by like a slight line between them. Almost like a chain link.
Sure.
As he unwraps his entire left arm and shows you, he has 3 circles filled. One on the back of his palm, one right where his wrist is, and one slightly above it. And they're filled with like magic glyphs that would denote, as you could tell, the types of spells that mana beasts use. Because whenever something is using a spell in this world, there is a magic circle tied to it. And mana beasts have unique symbols that are kind of like uniform to them. And thankfully, because you've seen aberrants at this point, you're not put off by the arm on sight.
Oh, I see.
It was part of an experiment when I was a kid.
And so the color would be from it not ever healing right, and the...
No, that was the intent.
Really?
And so long as you don't tell anyone else about this, essentially what it does, he tries to take a moment to think about this. Do you have any, like, magic potions on hand or anything, like health potion?
I do. I think I understand, though.
Can I have? I'll show you.
Oh, all right. Just hand Isaac one.
As he takes the health potion in his hand, the deep reddish color and like almost vibrant sparkles in the potion start to fade away. As it goes from a bright, vibrant red liquid to almost like a clear grayish color, like the type of color when you would be using too many watercolors and washing your brush off in the cup.
Right. The inevitable gray sludge. Yes.
And you could see like there's sort of like a magic glyph on the palm of his hand. Is all the color is drained into that. All the magic is drained into that.
I see.
Venus saw it when we were having our little entrance test, and it's kind of something I don't like to use very often.
I'm honestly surprised that it didn't cause a feedback loop with that training dummy.
He starts wrapping his arm back up and explains that because that thing was given life through magic, its lifeblood is essentially food for his arm.
Which thing? The
training
dummy? Oh, okay.
That's why the training dummy freaked out back in sessions he wrote.
Right.
And
because it thought it was in real trouble.
Huh?
Because it thought it was in real trouble, huh?
Yes. He explains that anything that's made out of magic, especially mana beasts, will usually react adversely around it. Because if he places his palm on any of them, he can drain them into nothingness.
I see. That's...
He doesn't remember much from his childhood other than there was a laboratory, lots of tests done, and this arm was a result of it, as he was deemed as a failure at the end of the tests and left out on the streets.
Wow. I shudder to think what they were trying to create, if what you have is somehow a failure.
You know, I just looked at the Spotify playlist. We're on Fabula Eterna, also known as Sacrifice, for the soundtrack. What fucking timing!
Oh. Oh, yeah.
I was like, I haven't heard this song before. What's this song? Oh, Sacrifice! Serendipity at its finest, y'all!
Oh, wow. That's wild.
And Isaac does take a moment to explain. I'm really hoping we can discover that one day and stop it. If I can remember anything about it. Because whenever I try to remember something about it, my mind draws blanks.
Can't finish the thought, huh? Like it's almost there, but it gets stopped.
Exactly. Thank you for the hydrate and stretch, Senpai.
Let me let you do that. That seems very important.
Oh, there we go.
Well, I feel like it's only prudent to tell you that we saw somebody who was causing very similar issues to what I can only assume were his subordinates, causing their words to essentially get caught in their mouth.
I can probably imagine it's something similar.
It seems...
That said, I have managed to learn a second form of magic because of this. Which, you know. You would know from all your studies, developing a second form of bodily magic like Isaac has is very rare. Most mages over the course of their career, if they have a bodily magic, will get magic tools to supplement it or complement it. As is the case with Duke with his electroconductive bracelets.
Yeah.
But Isaac demonstrates that because you're in a nice little nature surrounding, he points with his right hand and causes a clump of earth to form in his right hand, which he can mold freely, before he casts it up and it bursts into a bout of wind. And thank you, Keys and Darkness, for the raid.
I see. The force of nature and something very unnatural coexisting. That's truly something. That's remarkable.
But every now and then, if I don't drain something with my left arm, it can get a little haywire. And as he talks about this, he's holding his left shoulder. Like he's constantly clinging onto his left arm as if to squeeze it, and almost as if he's trying to cut the circulation off to it, but not quite. You know that type of squeeze when you're feeling uneasy?
Right, yeah. Isaac, I am curious about something.
What's
now
that?
that you've shown me all that. Have you ever held a mana crystal with that arm?
Yeah?
Just a regular one? Did it drain?
Yeah, but it was kind of like this. And he kind of dangles a now gray mana, or the gray health potion.
Oh.
Like it was all
And
grayed out, like a burnt out light bulb.
but not like one of those black crystals.
No, definitely not, but I can see where you're coming from. They're similar.
I feel perhaps I... Do you think they were trying to create people who were capable of turning regular mana crystals into those no mana crystals?
As he's trying to put the pieces together, you see him wince for a moment and clutch the side of his head. I can't think about that.
That tells me all I need to know. Please, don't trouble yourself.
Alright. Did you want to go do some shopping? Still.
We'd better.
Alright, let's go.
And Ira is thinking to himself in this moment, that tells me everything I need to know. And so yeah, he's going to go shopping. Not even really for anything in particular. He is going to now go and refill his 3 lost inventory points.
I'm not going to charge you for that. I'm not going to charge you for that.
No, okay. That's okay, fair enough.
But as you go out and do some shopping, you get some new things. We don't quite get your new weapon yet. I know you're waiting for that.
Yeah.
And we've already given you your accessories. You've like done your shopping before that, but
Yeah.
you just kind of go out and do some shopping with Isaac, and he gets himself a new belt that kind of like makes him feel a little lighter on his feet.
Mm-hmm.
And he buys another spool of Manasat bandages.
Yeah. Alright, that's fair, that's fair.
Sarah, fucking goddamn it. Excuse me, my health potion is broken. What the fuck is broken? Like,
I don't think it should look like
exchange
this.
it or give you store credit. It's fine.
Harbor Florence.
Do you have the receipt? No, you guys always look it up for me. We never look it up for you. Our system can't do that. I've worked here before. I know that it does it.
Did it for me the last time I was here. Why not now?
God, I've had some interactions like that.
Oh no. Oh, that's terrible.
And of course, while you're doing all this shopping, Isaac is going to be doing some shopping for the girls while he's out here.
Sure.
And you guys just spend the day talking a little bit about yourselves.
Mm-hmm.
Isaac tells you how he grew up on the streets of a variety of cities within Duplainsia, and mostly on the southern half of Duplainsia. Sorry, did I say southern? I meant northern. Like, he spent most of his life up in the desert regions. In a couple of different orphanages.
Alright, yeah.
And he also lets you know that he's happy he can call you a comrade or maybe even a friend.
Yeah, he's shared more than enough of a secret for Ira to feel that way, at least.
And of course, as you're on your way back, Isaac brings something up to you, Ira.
Yeah.
Is there anything you want to get off your chest, similar to what I did? If you don't want to right now, you don't have to. We all got secrets we want to keep.
I figure someone should know. At least. I'm sure you don't know why I'm here, but the reason is I'm here because of a magical accident wherein my mentor got frozen in time, and I'm trying to find a way to undo it. And I'm worried that those pursuits are unraveling the fabric of the world.
Oops.
A bit straightforward, I know, but
I accidentally tapped my microphone and muted it.
Hold on.
My microphone has this thing where if you tap the top of it, it mutes.
Yeah, I've seen that happen on a few. Ah.
Yeah, please. Don't get fussy. Look.
I can't help but laugh about his fat. Oh, jeez.
Let the cat on bed.
Good.
She starts pawing at the door to have me open the door, walks out the door. I close the door. She starts pawing at the door to have me open the door. I open the door, she just looks at me.
Yeah, that's owning a cat.
Yeah, that's cats.
It doesn't help that she's an orange tabby, so she has -1 brain cell naturally.
Yeah, that's how that works. Very, very good brain math.
She's also a type of cat that will play fetch with you.
Oh, good.
You throw one
I
of her
love
favorite
fetch.
toys, she runs, gets it, and brings it back to you. Drops it at your feet. She's a little sweetie, but god damn is she dumb.
Oh yeah, just the dumbest.
So yeah, as you reveal your secret to Isaac and all
Yeah.
that, you can develop a bond of trust with him for free.
Hooray.
And of course, if you build a bond with the rest of the members of B Team, you can change that to a group bond of B Team, so that it will be applied to anyone in B Team.
Oh, I didn't realize group bonds were a thing.
Yeah, so like for example, if you had a bond with Delilah, a bond with Lyle, a bond with Arian, a bond with Vina, a bond with Takeshi, a bond with Isaac, you could lump them together into a group bond of Golem Heart.
That's neat.
And for people who are interested, Fabula Ultima has a system called Bonds, where you can use Fabula points to invoke your bond to get a bonus of +1 to +3 on rolls.
Depending on the strength of your bond.
Yes. And you can have negative bonds, you can have positive bonds. You can have more than 6 bonds total, and those levels can never be more than 3.
You can have bonds with the same person that have multiple sort of aspects to them.
But yeah, during this little conversation on your way back to the guild, you're allowed to make a free bond of trust with Isaac.
I just did that. Aha!
Pog.
I'm pogging.
And as you all come back to the guild, as you both come back to the guild, and you come back to the field, you see a pile of bodies. Not dead bodies, but like, it looks like there was a lot of sparring done while you were away. And you just see Lycoris standing proud, fists folded on her hips while her sword is tucked away at her side. And you just see Amp hunched over, just kind of huffing and puffing. It seems that they both were doing quite a lot while you were away. Of course, during this, what were Takeshi and Lyle doing? Let's rewind a bit and focus on those two.
That's a great question.
After your spar, what were you two doing?
Burger.
I mean, yeah, I mean, you would probably need to have some lunch after that fight.
Takeshi is probably having lunch, and resting after exerting himself.
I think Lyle is still at the sparring field, kind of just like critiquing people's forms, like more not critiquing, more of like coaching people's forms as they're fighting. Try like using protect to catch stray blows that are not aimed in a safe way.
I get the feeling that Lyle would be Uncle Iroh. Remember the scene where Uncle Iroh gets mugged? And Uncle Iroh teaches the guy a proper, like, fighting stance technique. He's like, I could easily take down your form. What are you doing? I'm mugging you. Also, that is one of my favorite fucking episodes. It's also the episode where we get brave little soldier boy.
We not brave little soldier boy?
Part of me is also tempted to think that by this point, because maybe there's multiple sparring matches going on, Kiki is still in her high chair, but the chair is now strapped over her golem and is just wandering between the different matches.
I don't know, Riddle, why is your keyboard wet all of a sudden?
What? Hello?
Hey,
Riddle,
yo,
are you okay?
Good?
Riddle? Oh my...
Oh yeah, does your science explain why it rains? Yes.
Yes!
So, Lyle, well, one spar at a time is happening. And, most of the spars involve Lycoris. Because, you know, of her bravado. Kiki is gonna let you take over as the judge for this, so that she can go do some cooking for Takeshi.
Okay.
So, inside Takeshi, you're let in by Kiki, and you know, there's a couple of people grabbing some jobs off the board. And Kiki just kind of like crosses her arms over her chest, as you see like a magic symbol appear between the backs of her hands. And as she spreads her arms out comes her kind of like tripodal golem, Vimihu. Hovers around her a couple of times before scooping her up in its arms and carries her over to the kitchen. What would you like to eat, Takeshi?
Honestly, yeah, burger sounds good. Victory burger, because I won.
Victory burger.
Eat your hamburgers, Takeshi.
Victory burger. And as you like confidently shout victory burger, she just kind of like does her emotionless deadpan victory burger.
Victory burger.
Now, she doesn't exactly know what a victory burger is. So she goes back into the kitchen to make a victory burger. I'm like, how did this quest begin? This isn't a quest, Aki. This is more so like a social chapter in between the next big chapter. So Takeshi, what goes into a victory burger?
You know, he doesn't actually know.
I was wondering.
He just... Look, hamburgers were a rare treat in New Eris. He just wants a burger.
So,
yeah.
Kiki starts consulting some cookbooks. And while you see her little chef hat going back and forth through the kitchen, you see the other cook lady who's just kind of like taking a day off, sitting at the other end of the bar, just admiring how Kiki's so earnest about cooking. You know, I never would have thought that her cooking would be so damn delicious. You'd think someone of her age would be able to make some rudimentary things, but not quite like that. Granted, nobody really knows how old Kiki is being a witch, because, as you know, witches are kind of an enigmatic race on the planet. Even into their 50s, they kind of retain their, like, small stature. But you can judge a witch's age depending on, like, the symbols on their face that grow with them. And judging by Kiki's, you can tell that she's, like, maybe 15, 14. Witches know age spells? I cannot say, Aki. I cannot reveal anything about the plot.
Plot.
At least not yet. And of course, Takeshi, while you're listening to all this conversation and you smell the food cooking, she brings out something a little bit later. Served on a pretzel bun, you get a hand-rolled smash burger that's been, like, marinated in teriyaki sauce. It has a nice grilled pineapple on it. And served alongside it is are these kind of like coconut panko chips. Panko breaded chips.
Wow.
And of course there's a little side salad. Because you need your grains. Voila! Victory burger.
Victory burger.
Takeshi digs in. If you were sitting at the table with him and you turned away for a moment to have a conversation with somebody, if you turned back to look at him, the hamburger is already half gone. If you turned back to finish your conversation and turned back, the burger is gone, the chips are being eaten. The salad is still there, but everything on the plate is gone.
Of course, after the first bite, it's like time slows for you. You get a food war scene without the clothes blowing off.
Good.
You get a full, like, almost transcendental moment as you taste this food, and, like, you can treat your Might Die as plus one size more for the rest of the day.
Oh.
As you taste this wonderful concoction of, like, umami and sweetness. As your Might Die increases to a 12 for the rest of the day.
Takeshi literally licks the plate clean.
Victory?
He burps and nods. Ah, victory.
She jumps up on the bar stool next to Takeshi just to, like, chat with him for a little bit. What brought you to the guild anyway, Takeshi?
Oh, it's a sad boy backstory hours. Let's go. I'm just a street rat from New Eris. Spent most of my life hiding from and battling street gangs, and one day some girl shows up and leaves me a belt that lets me have some kind of weird power armor. I thought it would be best to learn how to use it and to help less fortunate people like myself. Joining the guild's a chance to do good, and I kind of out to be a hero, I guess.
She nods a couple of times, and, well, you can't really see it on her face. Like, because she's just got this constant deadpan look, because she's not good at expressing emotions or showing them at all. You can get a sense that she's taking in the information and understanding what you're putting down. Helping out the unfortunate's a good thing.
I gotta be... how do I say this? I have to be the hero for other people that I didn't get to have.
I was thinking we were gonna see something exactly like that. She nods a couple more times listening to your story. Do you know anything about the man who gave you that belt?
He shakes his head. No, it was given to me in a box. When I looked up from it, the person that handed it to me was gone.
Sounds suspicious, and you still put it on.
He shrugs.
She just immediately calls you out on this stuff.
He just kind of shrugs like, he's a dumb kid.
And she just kind of looks forward. She's just kind of like passing time at the moment. And you have a moment of just sitting in silence and contemplation with Kiki.
Takeshi appreciates that.
And if you have any questions, or if you want to talk to her at all, or just sit in silence, it's up to you.
Yeah, he just kind of sits in silence and reluctantly picks at his salad.
And she just turns and gives you a thumbs up for that. In the background, you see her golem going back and forth, taking care of dishes. You see its bulky arms that don't look like it should carry any sort of, like, finery. Kind of, like, thin out, like, kind of like liquidish metal, almost. And it's able to very, very delicately take care of each and every plate in the kitchen. And if you don't, if you don't have anything else, I can head on over to Lyle for a little bit. Got anything else you'd like to have covered, Rio?
No, I'm good.
All right. So back outside where all the fighting's happening, as the bodies are starting to pile up from spar after spar, Amp is trying to get Lycoris to take a break in between each and every fight. She's trying to get her to take at least one break. But no, Lycoris is just like, I absolutely want to keep going until I can't stand anymore.
Oh, no.
And of course it's at this point, no, not chorus, Lycoris, like the flower Lycoris. Because she is a dryad. And it's at this point Ira and Isaac start returning to the guild. Where you see all the bodies starting to pile up. To a concerning amount. And of course Amp is just kind of huffing and heaving, and she's like, "You're not human."
Yeah?
Yeah?
And Amp does shoot you a look, Lyle, when you say that. She's like, "You get what I mean?" And of course, Amp, just kind of stumbles over and drops to her hands and knees, and she's just like, "I can't anymore. I can't. I can't." So, Lyle, what are you doing at this point?
I feel like after that much of a rampage, it only makes sense for Lyle to see if Lycoris can hit him.
Do you want her to try and hit you with a check or just like raw hit you?
Properly hit him.
Okay, if you're certain.
Mm-hmm.
Pop this out really quick. As she prepares to strike you with her unique 7-branch sword that she brandishes. Are you absolutely sure about this, Lyle?
Of course. Why miss the fun?
She holds the sword ready in one hand, and in a flash of green arboreal light, it changes from this unique 7-branch sword to this ornate, curved, almost like fossilized wood katana. That she charges at you with and makes a quick strike. Would an 11 hit your armor?
It would not.
But she moves in such a way that you almost can't even... You can almost not block it as she rushes in with such a speed that you've seen her demonstrate over the past couple of hours of fighting. And she almost lands a hit on you. As the sword zips up and like just barely misses your nose. Exactly, Buttercup.
It's easy to see how you got this far, as he just gestures out across everyone, just exhaustedly piled up around the area.
And of course, you know that this sword of hers transforms into many, many different forms.
Mm-hmm.
But she's only shown maybe 6 of the forms so far. She's shown 6 of those forms so far. And you've learned through the sparring that's been happening that there is a 7th form, and that nobody wants to see what happens if she lands a hit with all 7.
Oh, I see.
As in, lands a hit with all 7 on the same person, or just
All
if
7
she
in
manages?
general.
Hmm.
And of course, Ira, as you and Isaac are coming back, he's just like, oh, god damn it, no.
This is the sword that is visible, that visibly has 7 branches on it, right?
Yes.
When it's not transformed.
Yes, it is basically the 7-branch sword.
Hmm. Well, if you're making a point of it.
If you're absolutely certain that you want her to test it out on you, you could say you can take the hit.
All these fights in only 6 forms.
Well, if you're absolutely certain.
I've already seen the day I die. It is not today.
And she twirls the sword in her hand and it briefly changes back to that 7-branch form. And she invokes the 7th form of the Cleat Blade. And activates Nightbloom, the Midnight Beacon, the Arcane Staff. She twirls this weapon around in her hand and brings it in to strike you. Do you take the hit or do you block the hit?
Is
You
that against normal defense or magic?
that would be against normal defense, but in this case, you wouldn't take damage even if you did take the hit. If you just wanted her to show off.
I think he is still going to block it, but I think there's still going to be signs of how powerful it is around him. I'm assuming from what you've said of it so far.
Not
Because
quite, but
the
also
12 would
yes.
not hit.
As this like bioluminescent nocturnal flower of a staff comes in and strikes your shield, you see a glint of light in her eye. A hit is all I needed. As she activates her 7-weapon style. And Lyle, over the course of the next couple of seconds, every single form in her sword flashes out in vibrant, bright, glowing white light. As she takes a brief moment without any weapons in her hand, and just kind of like taps the chest of your armor with her hand. Completely harmless tap. But then all 7 of these weapons come in to strike you without even being able to be blocked. Even if you were to block them, they would phase straight through you. And if this were a damaging attack, you would be taking 49 unblockable damage.
I see.
As you get a sense for just what that weapon of hers is all about, actually. And she just kind of gives you a smirk after that and twirls her sword around and sheaths it back into its container where it belongs. And of course, after doing this, she just kind of like falls over from exhausting her mana. She's just kind of like cocky smirking, and she's just like, phew. And Isaac is just like, you idiot, we told you not to do that!
Excuse me.
Lyle's gonna reach down and offer an arm.
Leave her, P. She's gonna be unconscious for the next 2 hours. And he's kind of rubbing the temples on the sides of his head.
Should I carry her somewhere?
Yeah, just carry her inside. She keeps touting on about how special that attack is, but she doesn't have the strength to use it yet.
Alright, Lyle's going to lift her up carefully and bring her inside then.
Before you go inside, you feel a tug at your leg.
Alright, Lyle stops and looks down.
Amp has crawled over to you exhausted, and you can she's breathing at such a... She's wheezing, like... Have you ever run so long that your lungs feel like they're on fire?
Uh-huh.
She's breathing like that. And you just hear her wheeze out, at least drag me in.
I think Lyle's going to look down at like Horace, then down at Amp. He's just going to crouch down, put like Horace over one shoulder, and then pick up Amp and sling her over his other shoulder.
Holy moly.
And you just hear like a muffled thank you.
And just walks inside. I picture he still has the shields strapped onto the front of his arms.
Yep.
So he's just like pushing doors open, maybe not in the correct direction to make sure neither of them hit any door frames as he walks through.
And of course, Ira, Isaac go back in, and Takeshi, you get this. You see this as you hear, because it's impossible not to hear Lyle approach. You just hear like the of his armor
The
as he walks
stomping
in.
of boots and the rattling of armor and shield.
Yeah. And you see he's carrying the 2 girls over his shoulders.
He's gonna call out, "You good?"
I am.
All right, Takeshi kind of shrugs and goes back to what he was doing. Man says he's got it. He's got it.
Thankfully, no, it is not like the Hi-Fi Rush Corsica scene. Thankfully, no one's getting their heads bonked. Okay, thank you. I just got a notice from DoorDash from my food order from 5 hours ago.
Oh, very cool.
Your dasher left your food at the door. Make sure to take a picture. I'm just sitting here like, that was 5 fucking hours ago? Did you get the food? Yeah, I ate the food 4 hours ago, Britters.
I mean, you know what you gotta do then. Like, the bathroom's right there. Take a look at your finger. Take a look at your life. What? They want a picture of the food. Give them a picture of the food. Be like, yeah, this is it. Here you go.
Of course. While this is all happening, nothing major is like. There's no big fights or like drama happening at the moment. It's a nice, peaceful day for once. It's almost like this day was designed for you to catch your breath and relax.
Imagine that.
Oh, thank you, Tristana. And, as the day wanes on and it turns to nighttime, you all head to the dorms, to get your sleep in. For anyone that lives next to Lycoris, you can slightly hear the muffled noise from her noise-canceling room of her practicing her instruments. Like, any of them would take a brief look into not Lycoris' room. Amp's room, I meant. Anyone that would take a brief look into Amp's room would clearly see that, like, she's tried to soundproof it as much as possible. And there looks to be something that she's been tinkering around with, but you can't quite figure out the mechanics of it. But of course, as the night wanes on and it's time for bed for y'all, would you like to describe your dorm rooms for the chat? My Hero Academia dorm room tour style. Like, what does Takeshi's dorm room look like?
Takeshi's dorm room looks like whatever it looked like when he arrived. He arrived here with nothing, and hasn't really bought anything to, really done anything to change that.
What about you, Ira?
There's a number of books. There are man, I haven't actually thought about this in the slightest.
Unexpected cosmetics.
Man, that is a good question. Um, I'm drawing a blank.
Oh, sorry to hear that, Tristana.
Oh no.
Oh no. Oh
If you don't
no.
want to describe it right now, that's fine.
Yeah, I don't have any idea.
Same goes for you, Lyle.
So what's seen in Lyle's room is, so the bed is wild. It is, you know, how a box spring would be set up
I think so.
normally. It instead is like just board on top of board on top of board. It is not a slat constructed bed. It is a very much solid block of wood as the base of the bed. Just so it can handle the weight
Oh my
of
god.
what is seen next to it, which is a stand that has a separate suit of armor
Do you
on
have a
it.
fucking nighttime sleep? Do you have a sleep time armor like pajamas?
Paige.
Do you mean pajama?
It's nightwear.
I deserve this.
As a separate stand of armor is as a separate stand is seen with a different suit of armor that is entirely covered in like a brocade canvas that shows like little clip art armor with a dark blue background.
Oh my god, I cannot believe I fucking lost. I can't believe I fell for the fucking nightmare pun. Yes, Lionel, you did hear nightmare. Does he have nightmares?
I actually a little while ago had found
Oh.
I'm gonna put a picture in the out of character chat.
Oh my god, I can't.
I'm picturing that the blue one there, that pattern, but in brocade fabrics, overlaying a separate suit of armor.
Oh my god.
So
Should I
with
put that in fan chatter as well, just so people can see it?
I can't right now without lagging the Foundry system. We can put it in. Yeah, we can put it in fan chatter. It has now been posted to Golem fan chatter.
Mm-hmm.
But as the night closes out and you all get a good night's rest, the next day, everything's all nice and hunky dory. People are going out on their missions. People are enjoying themselves. You know, then nothing quite
Yeah.
out of the ordinary. However, once it winds down to maybe halfway through the afternoon, someone
Not-
comes barging into the guild hall. One of the other guild members.
Ooh. No. Oh no.
Announcing something about, Lycoris, Kiki, and Isaac. So, something about how, they seem to have been jumped.
What?
Over at the Respite Park.
Kiki, like Horse and
no.
Isaac, you said?
Sorry, what? Yeah, Lycoris, Kiki, and Isaac over at Respite Park.
How late is it at this point?
It's, maybe like 3 p.m.-ish.
Oh, only 3 p.m. Okay, yeah.
3 p.m. the
Lyle
next day.
takes. Oh, next. Okay, cool. Lyle takes off.
Takeshi is right behind him.
And
Ira will follow.
when you come to the park, when you come over to Respite Park, which is known for its like winding paths and myriad of benches and trees, you find the 3 of them with a big crowd is gathered around the trees here, right? Big crowd.
Mm-hmm.
And you see the 3 of them just kind of like strewn about, beaten, bruised up, and like just strewn about on the floor in front of one of the biggest trees in the park. And carved into the tree is AMP. And above that is a guild symbol. And it's not yours.
Better be.
And that is where we're going to call it today.
Yes.
Because I'm getting the feeling...
Oh.
I'm getting the feeling, Lionel, you need to get some rest. You don't sound like you're doing good, my guy.
I'm fine, but like, you know.
But this also
rest-
seems like a
rest
good
would be-
narrative spot for today.
Oh yeah, absolutely. I agree. I fully agree.
YouTube,
Thank
thank you for being here tonight. We will see you in the next one. Bye-bye, YouTube.
Bye-bye!
Yeah.